Are you ready to learn and experience the process of becoming a Medicare machine?
What's up? Hey. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué onda?
No sé.
What's happening? What's up? How's it going? I'm excited for this. It's been a marathon of meetings for Zach and I today, so we're a little bit burnt out on seminars and presentations and other stuff, but we're going to do this anyway. That's how you do it, right? You dial in, you dig in, and you perform when it's time to perform. And so, yeah, I'm excited. This is, I want to do this series. We're going to do a bunch of these over the next weeks and months to kind of go through. We'll have some structured stuff to go through, but it's really about the people that are watching and to give an opportunity to ask questions, to get to know, who are we and why are we doing this? And that's kind of what today is about is, I want to help people understand the truth. And for me, the truth is, who are we? What do we represent? What do we stand for? And why are we going the way we're going? And what direction are we trying to go? And so today is really about, in a lot of ways, Zach, getting to know who Zach is, how you fit into the legacy peace of mind envelope, and why. And so, I guess I'll start with that question is, what was it that aligned with you that made you want to respond to our exploration to find a head of operations?
I guess at first it was just kind of curiosity, right? Just to see what you were doing in terms of growth. Obviously, I've worked at Integrity, so seeing how you were aligning with them and how maybe I could, obviously benefit from working with you guys, but how I could bring my experience and my skills and be a part of something a little bit bigger. I've been an agent for a long time, and as much as I love doing that, I learned during my time at Integrity how much I really love working with agents. Obviously, I was a wholesaler, recruiter, whatever term you want to use for that. But
what is a wholesaler? A lot of people don't know what that means.
Well, it really depends on, I guess, I was on the Medicare ACA side in my role. So my job was more meeting with agents, understanding where they were at, where they wanted to take their business. An annuity wholesaler would probably be doing way more with actually helping them write business for agents who either don't know how to do annuities or life insurance, right? So we had those on our team, and they were great to work with. We would send business kind of back and forth. Hi, Kevin. And speaking of somebody from my history and my past, there is Kevin Rohde saying hello there, my mentor, who I actually got to help become an Integrity Partner Office during my time at IFC National Marketing. So, yeah, when you posted it, I was just curious what was changing, what you were up to, and obviously I had a good conversation with you and Aaron, and just kind of let things go from there. Yeah.
Okay, so switching gears, when you look at our industry, what do you think is the most frustrating aspect of how the typical agencies are run?
Well, most agents that I've talked to, and I can definitely relate this, is contracting, right? Not only all the different systems that contracts are in, the different steps that each carrier seems to have different release forms and processes. On the annuity and life side, you hear about SureLC a lot. So that's something that I hear constantly. And I know that there are people out there that are trying to make better systems. I'm certainly one of them that wants that process to be easier for agents, especially agents who are newer to the industry, or maybe they're moving for the first time and they don't really understand the release process. Today, as you mentioned, we've been in back-to-back meetings all day, and a lot of them have been with agents. And a lot of times it's just not understanding their upline's release process, or if they're LOA, or if they're in a 1099 LOA model, and who's truly in their corner, who's not. So just helping agents understand that. A lot of the stuff I didn't have. Going back to Kevin, when I met Kevin, he was working with JSA. They're right here in the backyard in Green Bay. So, I got connected with John Gallagher over there, Jeremiah Lozano, and they connected me with Kevin. He was right in De Pere. I'm in Appleton, and it was great. And I just went out and learned the business with Rhodey and started doing things the way he was doing, and didn't really even, I probably couldn't have told you what an FMO was, right? And then as I start to learn that and these contract levels and overrides and processes and everything, it was like my whole world opened up to the possibilities of not just being an agent who writes business. And, I was really focused on just Medicare Advantage at the time, ACA. Didn't really do a lot of cross-selling, maybe dental, right? Wasn't necessarily doing a ton of med sup. And then realizing, oh my God, there's all these other things out there. And I honestly thought JSA was like the only company we really could work through. Didn't know about how you get to contract directly or and all that. So it was quite the process. And that's really where I love what some of the Facebook groups have done, the events, allowing agents to learn from each other. I remember when Tony Merwin talked about the different relationships I think it was at one of the Medicare cons, where he talked about the different relationships we have in the industry, not just with obviously our FMOs, but with vendors, with carriers, with other brokers. Then I really started to see things differently. And I think a lot of agents these days, when they're getting in, they just don't know what they don't know. And that's where it can be overwhelming, and they can get analysis paralysis and think they have to do all these things instead of just being in front of people and have an activity, right? So
what do you think is unique and or fun about the culture that we're trying to build?
Well, I will say you and I have very different styles and personalities. So, I mean, that's where I felt like, if I was going to be able to compliment anything for the culture, not that I certainly used to dress a lot louder. My wife would have probably called me a peacock. But as you know, my standard uniform is black, and pretty much every day I just focus on all the things I need to get done now. So for me, as head of operations and being somebody who really just wants to build systems and processes to make agents, especially the solopreneurs, make their lives easier, help them run their business easier, that was huge for me in terms of, the culture. Obviously, I know you, Rhodey, many top agents that are beasts on your own pen, as we say, but some agents, they seem to kind of get almost in their own way and worry about things that are not necessarily problems they have to worry about yet. I certainly was one of them. I've had a lot of great mentors teach me about those things, and really recognize what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, try to either delegate or hire for the things I wasn't good at. And then same thing for you. Like you said, you wanted me to come in and work with the agents, obviously help with, SOPs and frameworks. And that's what I'm good at. And that's what I enjoy. So it fits my ikigai, right? If we're looking at it that way. But then there's also things where even this kind of stuff, right? I don't need to be all over social media or the face of a company or those kind of things. I think of entrepreneurs, right? Steve Ballmer probably being the most famous one, where, obviously he was an employee at Microsoft and now owns the Clippers. So I don't mind being the number 2 or number 3 or just one of the people on the team that's helping the company grow. And I don't necessarily have to be in your seat, because I know your seat comes with a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, and those kind of things. So that's where I felt like it was a really good fit. And what I'm most excited about for our culture is just, being able to help agents where they're at. And if they want to work 2 days a week and have 5-day weekends because they're close to retirement, we can support that. And if they are young and in growth mode and they want to eventually have a team and an agency, we can certainly help them build that. But I don't want to direct an agent to build something that they have no interest in building, if that's not going to be a good fit for them. Because I don't think that's going to work out for them, obviously, long term, but it's not going to work out for us as a partnership.
Well, it hasn't. Yeah, no, you're right. And that has historically been one of the weaknesses that I have is I have a certain mentality and mindset, right? And I've struggled in the past of aligning with someone who doesn't want to go balls to the wall. I don't know what the right expression is. But yeah, it's been a fun time. We're about a month in now since you started, unofficially, and then like officially started. I think it was the first week of February. I think we've come a long way in that short period of time, and in aligning, getting back to the basics with our team as we prepare to put people in position. I think probably the best thing I could have done this year, Zach, was get voluntold. I was really enjoying the last several years. I think it was like 4 years ago. Erin, my wife, signed us up to coach T-ball. I think it was, and every season since then, they don't even ask us anymore. They hand us our bag of balls, our bag of equipment, and they go, "Here's your team." And we've been in this constant state of coaching 3, 4, 5, and 6-year-olds for the last several years. And this season for Paige's basketball, she got invited to a competitive basketball team. And for the first 3 games, I was honestly really enjoying being a fan. And I was just sitting in the stands, minding my own business, watching the games and enjoying it from the fan perspective. And then at halftime, one of the games, the coach comes over and sits next to me and goes, "Will you do me a favor and just come sit on the end of the bench and just tell me when I should be doing subs?" That was the voluntold part where I got sucked into coaching again. But it was probably the best thing that could have happened, because I find, and don't take offense to any of you agents out there, don't take offense to this, but coaching a third grade girls basketball team is a lot like mentoring and coaching agents, where it's chaos. You're trying to, and what I had to learn was, reality is I can't install a box one defense. I can't install a complex pass and pick away offense quickly. And what it really taught me was that's the same thing with agents. Like, they can't just enter the field with this expectation that they're gonna come out the gate and be a fully functioning basketball player. You have to start with the very, very basics, where we had to spend one whole practice just dribbling. Like, everybody just dribble. Can we just work on dribbling right now? And it's so hard, especially as like a coach or mentor, to have people that need to get to a certain place in a certain time, and they don't, like, half the time when we're trying to say, "Hey girls," you look around and some of them are looking in the air, twirling their hair, others are teasing each other, chasing, playing tag. And I guess I learned more coaching third grade girls basketball this year than I ever have coaching and mentoring agents. And you were a big part of helping me see that, because once you start getting involved and then meeting the agents where they are in their growth and development, which is the opposite of me. Basically, what I have been trying to do is, like, here I am, see me running around, dribbling, dunking on people. Like, why aren't you doing this? Versus slowing down and remembering what it's like to be new. And it's a hard part for me, Zach, because technically I was never new. I spent 14 and a half years in an FMO agency working through each position, starting with the secretary. And then I was the status guy for a couple of years. And then I was managing the telemarketing department. And then I spent the last 10 years or so as they called me the Medicare sales director at one point, agent manager. Basically, my job was wholesale. I was on a triangle from Denver to Vegas to Phoenix, Denver, Vegas to Phoenix, recruiting, training, recruiting, training, recruiting, training, recruiting, training. And that's the cycle that prepared me that when I hit the field, where I had this massive like uptick, took off like a rocket. But it's because I got 14 and a half years. I promise all of you agents out there, if you spent 14 and a half years in an FMO office learning every single spot that there is, you would explode too if you paid attention and you were growing that. And so I guess give yourself some grace if you're out there. But that's what we're looking for. We're looking for people that want to align with Zach and I and my beautiful wife, Erin, who we're going to have on some of these segments as well. But the kids are out of school today, and so we can't just leave the kids running amok in the house, because that's a dangerous recipe with my 2 kids for sure. But what in retrospect do you wish, or are there any questions you wish you would have asked me before you started?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you and I, we've known each other for a long time, obviously spending time together at conferences and everything. I felt like I knew knew you well enough based on how you work and everything. So I felt comfortable with that. And I knew I'd be working more with Erin on a day-to-day basis. So it was nice to be able to spend, obviously I'd met her before, right? At conferences, met your kids, but never had in a working capacity. So I felt that she and I would really work well together because I know you obviously wanted me to take on the stuff that you're not really focused on, which I felt like that's where I felt good in that we could complement each other and be able to be yin and yang, I guess. Definitely opposites. Yeah. Not that I don't still like to have fun and enjoy some of the concerts at those things, but I'm just in a very different stage of life right now where obviously a lot of our friends in the industry know this. I stopped drinking 2 months before, 2 months to the day before my daughter was born, and she's now almost 2.5. So life got very different for me when because I'm an older first time dad, and obviously my wife and I needed to focus on that. So I used to be what you would call obsessed, where I was thinking about business all weekend, and now I've gotten better at setting boundaries and those kind of things. So I guess maybe I wish I would have asked you about that. But I think you and Erin have certainly understood when I haven't replied on the weekend that I'm focused on family time.
I just forget.
and I get back to you, but it just might not be till Monday. So maybe thank you, Michael. Maybe I should have asked what those after hours expectations were in retrospect, but honestly, it's been just fine. It's not a big deal. It's not that I'm not thinking about work. It's just that I'm trying to not focus my energy on there all the time.
Yeah. And what I would say, Zach, the second that you applied or showed interest in it, I told Erin right away, I'm going to interview everybody else because in my history, I have a fire ready aim personality, and it holds true on almost anything. But it served me really well to take action first and ask questions second, where a lot of people are more conservative and asking questions. But what I would say is I have been immensely surprised in a good way that you were even more valuable and more of an asset for us, and not just in the business, like in how you conduct yourself, how you do have more balance with family. And it's in a weird way been where you've been the role model for us on what we should be trying to achieve. Reality is it's more difficult when you are the agency owner and principal. But yeah, I just want to make sure you knew that and say it publicly. Those of you out there, like it was a really warm reception when we announced that Zach was joining us. But you're even more valuable than we ever could have imagined. And the relationship that we're working on right now and the stuff we've got going, I'm more excited now than I've ever been. And for the first time, it's changed my perception of what is going to be a success story for Legacy Peace of Mind at this point. And the key word in our name is legacy. The second part of it's peace of mind, right? And we were Medicare Peace of Mind to start with. I was kind of forced into making the change. I didn't want to. It was very expensive. So if you've never changed your name before, it's not just like filing the piece of paper. You got business cards, you got logos, I had like hundreds of shirts with the logo on it, like the whole litany of that process. And change is painful. That's what I would say. Change is painful. But it's been a wonderful experience working so far with you. I'm really excited about the prospects of what we have going. And I really want everyone to look forward to doing these sessions and throwing us questions. Like, what do you want to know about us, about me? Because there's a lot of different things. And what I would say is typically the outward perception of me, I know what it is. People think of me as arrogant, think of me as a jerk, as an asshole, all these other things that come across because I have that very dominant a cocky personality of confidence. But I would hope that the people that really know me, and there's plenty of them out there, they know what I'm really about. And that's the cool part about this business is if you hang around long enough and you perform at certain levels long enough, people will start to understand who you really are. And but you never be surprised, right? And so I get that a lot of, oh, I didn't realize that you were this way. Same, I'm sure you do as well, because you do a good job of being what I would call a undercover on a lot of levels now. Where when I first met you, you're right. You were more like You were more Chris Farley.
Yeah,
And,
I think there's
right?
I think Cedric has a funny meme that he made of me at the first Medicare con while we were partying, and it was the first time everybody was out during COVID, right? But it was very Chris Farley-esque. And although I can still do a great Matt Foley, I don't know if it's as good as when the booze was helping.
Right.
Right. It's kind of like, what does Will Ferrell say in Wedding Crashers? It was the booze dancing, right? So I mean, I definitely feel like my personality hasn't necessarily changed.
No, your
But
priorities did. Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, my priorities did. And I do think about what Mr. Tony Merwin did say, the relationships with, like, for instance, some of our vendors and seminar companies and lead vendors, phone systems, the connections I've been able to make with people. And obviously you see people all the time move from, one company to another. Sometimes they're moving within FMOs or wholesalers or stuff. A lot of people got to remember, if we're not in your shoes and stuff, a lot of times it's to provide for our families. It's about job and career growth. But also a lot of people think people don't change, but I disagree with that. I think, the evolution comes from major life events, or even sometimes things that happen to us in business. I've had certainly some tough times in my career where I've made mistakes that, I deeply regret and have to learn from, and you have to apologize for when you've made a mistake, and those kind of things. And you hope you can repair relationships. And I mean, even with Rhodey on here, there was a time where he and I were just not seeing eye to eye on stuff, and thankfully, we were able to make amends. And for myself, it's not about me. It's really about trying to be the best I can be for my clients, obviously, yes, on the agency side, but obviously the role I'm in now, it's about supporting our internal team and our external side. And I just got off a call right before we jumped on this, and she's a younger agent who's looking to grow. And it was a great call, but I just gave her some stuff that I wish somebody would have told me when I was in my 20s. I don't know what really did it, other than the Facebook groups allowing all these agents to get together, talk about the industry, and really start to exchange knowledge and experiences and everything. Because before that, I just remember. Yeah, I remember. Well, I would go to, obviously I'd go to Kevin for most things, but I could go to JSA for help with certain things, but even sometimes they would just redirect me back to him. It was the old, ask your upline kind of thing. And if you weren't, I guess, what we would call top of hierarchy or whatever, they maybe didn't want to deal with you, right? So a lot of people just didn't understand that. So I try to share that knowledge as best I can with agents who are looking to grow, evolve, change, whatever you want to, what have you, right? So that's how I look at it. And I also just trying to take it one day at a time here with, making sure that I'm able to do a good job with whoever I'm sitting on right now, even for this call for you and I just want to make sure that, we're focused on what we need to accomplish today, and not try to worry about, oh my God, like, yeah, you have to prepare for AEP, obviously, but there's so much that needs to be done right now to just build enough in your pipeline to have a successful AEP, because that's really when, as you need to be making sure you're retaining your clients and taking care of the people who already work with you. And right now, a lot of agents are freaking out because of the non-commissionable plans and different things that are going on in our industry. Obviously, CapCon, I think, is going on right now, or it just finished. And there was some stuff apparently in the news about NABIP. I don't really know, because as you know, I'm not on social media nearly as much as I once was. So I try to step out of that and focus more on what I can control each day. And that's right now, it's my calendar and talking to agents and supporting them and doing what I can to be a resource for them.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right. So I want to finish with some rapid fire questions for you. It's basically this or that. And so I'm going to hit you off with a couple of them. What do you think is more important, systems or speed?
Systems.
Builder or fixer?
Builder.
Growth or optimization?
Optimization.
Discipline or motivation?
Discipline.
What's one non-negotiable for you that you would wish somebody would have told you earlier?
One non-negotiable that somebody should have told me earlier.
That you have now that you didn't have
Oh,
before.
well, it's outside the business, but prioritizing family time.
Yeah, it don't matter about business. That's a good non-negotiable.
Right.
That's one I'm still learning. What's one thing agents will quickly learn about you when they meet you for the first time? Oh yeah. Cheesehead.
Back, go.
Cheesehead.
Obviously, yes, I am just a little bit south of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and I still do love my Green Bay Packers. Tough year this year, but yeah, most agents already know that if they and if they don't, they'll figure it out either from the fact that my agency is called Packerland Insurance Advisors, or that obviously Packerland Zach and those kind of things have been kind of following me. But yeah,
or maybe the picture over your right shoulder. On the
well,
wall.
yeah, that's far breaking the touchdown record. Obviously, that one's been broken a few times. As you can see, I do like my Kobe stuff. Rest in peace, Kobe. But yeah, probably the Packer stuff. I mean, that's what most people associate it with. And it's been really fun. I will say, like Chris Bell came for the draft. He's been here. He actually, my wife is still mad about this, that when Chris came to visit for an IFC event, we went to Lambeau, and my wife had just gone back to teaching after maternity leave. And so I had our daughter, and her first time at Lambeau was with me and Chris Bell. And so I don't know if my wife will watch this back, but if you do, honey, I'm sorry again. So yeah, but
please forgive him, please.
My daughter is also the, according to my uncle, my daughter is the only one in our family seats that's ever drank breast milk during a game, because she got to go to a preseason game. And that was pretty fun moment when my uncle told me that one after being a season ticket holder for 50 plus years.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Well, I hate to cut it short. We could keep going for hours probably, but we both have back-to-back appointments still the rest of the day. So we're going to cut today's session off. Stay tuned. We're going to keep doing these. We're going to have more people on the team, agents on our team on these. But yeah, the closing one I want to finish with, Zach, if someone is watching this now or later and wondering whether alignment with us would make sense, what would you say to them?
Let's get on a call, because I think most people know this about me, because if we're not a fit, or I feel like we're not going to be able to do what you need, I probably know somebody who could be a good fit. Am I going to assume they are? No, but I can at least refer you over to them or connect you. The other thing is, when it comes to like systems and things like that, I got to shout out my guy, Dalton Miles, Scott Miller. It was his birthday the other day. Davis Root, Retire Flow. They have been amazing in connections for me, and those kind of relationships are huge. So if you do want to connect, obviously, add me on Facebook. I do check that now and then. But otherwise, you can reach us, through just emailing Zach at legacypom.com. Otherwise, some agent,
Medicarians, most likely.
Yeah. Some agent has my phone number that I'm sure you can get. Otherwise, I'm not hard to find. But yeah, I would love to at least help figure out where you need to go. And if we're a good fit, that's great. And if not, that's okay. Maybe it's in the future, right? As one of my mentors, Aaron Niedorf, taught me, it's okay to be somebody's number two. And maybe it's not right now, but it's someday.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. We'll see you soon. See y'all later.
Thank you, Josh.